Last week I made a video on why most estates in Ekpe right now closed sales and why you don't get to see most people promote properties in Ekpe. And I got so many calls and messages asking for more clarity on the events that occurred. People need to understand why the government did what they did and the implications of all of this. So the truth is, more information is needed to clarify the issues, and that is what I'm going to do today. I'll explain why all of this is happening. I got hold of the Lagos Urban Planning and Regional Development Law of 2005, and if you read through, you understand why the government is doing what they're doing. But there are so many reasons for this, and I would explain all those in this video today. I remain Patrick, your Lagos Realtor. Like our videos, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification button so that every time we drop a new content, you get to see our videos, you learn from it. Promote our videos to your friends, your colleagues, so that when they're about buying properties, houses and lands anywhere in Nigeria, they are well informed and they can buy rightly. Today I'll give a more detailed information on why all those things happened in Ekpe. Now, to start with, the law that governs the control of properties and lands in Nigeria to a large extent is the Land Use Act, and that particular act placed the ownership of lands in urban settlements in the state in the hands of the state governor. Now, that is for the whole federation, but most states developed on this particular act, and that is why you would see Lagos has the Urban Planning and Regional Law of 2005. Other states too have developed on theirs and got laws that are peculiar to that location and to their states. So for Lagos, aside the Land Use Act, there are other laws that you must be abreast of if you must buy properties rightly. Two basic reasons caused all this happening in Ekpe. First is that developers are developing estates in areas not in conformity to zoning regulations. This is one. Number two, some developers have encroached into the right of way and also lands that are for the state government. If you go through this Lagos Law of 2005, you will see that, and I will explain all of this. Some time ago, I did a video on the zoning regulation. The link is already on the screen. I would also drop the link in the description below so you can go and watch that once you're done with this to have a better understanding. Ekpe has a master plan, and that master plan is to cover from 2017 to 2037. So all things being equal, it is not supposed to be altered. So we still have about 13 years for that master plan to be valid. When you go through the master plan, you'll see that different areas have been zoned for different uses: residential, commercial, agriculture, industrial. Now, what the government is saying is that besides you buying properties from anybody, from the government or even from traditional families, your development of that particular land is hinged on the provisions in the Urban and Regional Law of Lagos 2005. So if you are buying a land in a residential development, in a residential zone, you are expected to build residential houses in those places. If you are buying something in a commercial zone, you are expected to build commercial developments and buildings. If you're buying a land in an industrial zone, you're expected to develop industries and firms in those places. So you cannot buy in commercial zone and go and build industrial. You cannot buy industrial zone and go and build residential. That is what the government is saying. But the major default in Ekpe right now is that about 70% of the lands are zoned for agriculture in Ekpe, and definitely that might not work out in the long run, might not work out. But as we have it, if you're to go by the law, if you have an agricultural zone, you should build only agricultural properties. Most developers have developed and proposed estates on lands that are agriculture. So this is what the problem is. You cannot build residential and commercial development on lands that are for agriculture. You can't. So the first issue now is the government is saying, come and perfect, come and regularize. Yes, we know you have proposed all of this on this agric land. Come to us and come and regularize. But the problem is that regularization is not cheap. It is not cheap. It costs so much to regularize land. If you go through my videos last week, you'd see the instance I gave. So it costs so much. So most developers cannot meet with that at this time, because the idea was, oh, we're buying this land for land banking. When development comes 10, 15, 20 years, we would have developed, would have perfected, and those who are buying the properties would have perfected, because they would see reasons for perfection. That was the idea. But right now the government is saying, come and perfect. Sometimes I might want to think that the government is scared about the speed of development in Ekpe. Truth be told, the rate at which Ekpe has developed in the last 3 years is so fast, so fast and so quick. So the government might not be ready for the kind of development happening in Ekpe, because it does not just boil down to private developers or individuals, because the most you can do is have a beautiful estate, develop a beautiful estate, but there are some amenities that only the government can provide. Only the government can provide security, build what do you call it, police stations, military bases. Only the government can provide general hospitals. Only the government can provide good road network and access routes. Only the government can do all those. But now that almost every developer is moving into a proposing estate development, hoping that in the next 5 to 10 years it's going to be livable, the government might not have the resources. So that's my thinking. They might not have the resources to match the speed of development right now. So this is a delay tactic on the part of the government to slow things down and catch up with what is happening. This is my thoughts, and this might just be true. I've heard so many people saying the same thing. The government does not have the resources to actually fund development at this rate, at the way Ekpe is developing. They might not just be capable of doing all those. So this is just like a delay tactics to slow down everybody. That is one. So they are saying, come and ratify, knowing fully well that ratification is not cheap. Imagine someone bought a land for 500,000 and you ratify with maybe 4 million naira. How will that happen in a space of how many days and how many months? So I feel that is a delay tactic. Secondly, you would notice that if you are very careful, you would notice that the estates that were marked to stop work or to come and ratify are estates on the express road. If you read through the what do you call it, the 2005 urban and regional law of Lagos, you would see that aside from setbacks, you would see that the lands on the express, I think about 2 kilometers to the left, 2 kilometers to the right, belongs to the state government. So no matter what the status of the land is on the express, you'd see that the state government, the land belongs to the state government. So when you look at Epe right now, you see that we have some estates on the express road. So and they are without title. And you know what that means? You know what that means? The government can claim that at any time. And that is why they will tell you that almost 80% of properties or estates in Epe are illegal estates. This is because there is a law, aside the Land Use Act, aside buying from the family, there is that law that says about 2 kilometers from the road belongs to the state government on the express. So it's a problem. It's a problem because most of these laws might not be known to all of these people that have gone with development. And for those that know, the idea is, okay, we are going to ratify. And right now the government is saying they come and ratify. Come and ratify, but I doubt if everything can be, because the government understands that real estate is big business and one of the most viable industry in Nigeria, in the state right now. So it's going to be hard for the government to forfeit all those lands and say, okay, go ahead, take the lands, do with it whatever you will. That would be so impossible. So, but they've told them come and ratify. So it is the process of ratification that will know that, okay, all of these properties, but I doubt, I don't want to be very negative, but when you go through this particular document, you would see that there's a right of way about, I heard Pastor Ashimolo saying in one podcast recently, 2 kilometers to the left and to the right. That's about 50 plots to the left and the right. So it's if that is what it is, then it might not be resolved easily. These are two major reasons why all of this is happening in Epe. First, that people are built against zoning regulation, and secondly, that people are built on the right of way on places that naturally, by the law, should belong to the state government. And that is that. So for those wanting more explanation, this is the best I can give at this time. This is the best I can explain at this time. And it's not for you to be worried, because I got so many calls, so many messages explaining all this. So this is it. Be very positive. As far as the lands are not committed acquisition, then ratification is possible. If the lands are committed acquisition, then there's no way the developers will ever get those lands. So be it agric acquisition, be it government acquisition, ratification is possible. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure, but from experiences, government committed acquisition, there is no way you cannot get that. But for agric acquisition, you can always regularize. I've seen developers doing that. You can, but it's just the huge capital, the huge money needed to do that. That's what inhibits most developers from doing all those. So this is it. I hope I've explained and broken all this down. For more questions, for consultation, for advice, my number is open. You can drop message for me on WhatsApp anytime, and I'll gladly reply you. This does not mean you should not invest in Epe at this time. The truth is, there are so many free lands free from all these issues in Epe. They are very pricey, and that's just the truth. They are very pricey. There are sea of old lands in Epe, so now is the right time to even buy Epe. If you must buy safety. Now is the time to buy safety, because about 2 weeks ago, or about last week, the news came up on the dualization and the reformation of that Epe, of that Lekki Epe link bridge. So if you must buy Epe, now is the time to buy safety. Until we see again, stay safe, keep investing in real estate, and be peaceful.